So I have a question for you this morning. Where do you keep your clutter? Where do you keep your clutter? Do you keep it in a junk drawer? Most people have a junk drawer, that drawer that just everything just kind of goes into, and something's not where you think it might be. It's probably in the junk drawer. Maybe it's your closet. Maybe it's the garage. Where do you carry it in your body, in your heart, in your mind? Do you experience it in your shoulders, maybe your hip, maybe a knee? Where is the physical expression of clutter in your life? There's all kinds of clutter. There's physical, mental, emotional, and relational. And it can manifest in our bodies as congestion, as muscle pain, as stiffness in our joints. Emma Curtis Hopkins, a very prominent author and speaker, teacher, back at the turn of the century, called that chemicalization, when our thoughts chemicalize into something different, into the symptoms that we're experiencing. She says it means that the truth is being received and it's being re-chemicalized, and our body goes through a transformation. Our message today is finishing the unfinished, which I thought was appropriate for this particular Sunday, the 28th of December, the last Sunday of the year. And some of us may have some unfinished business, some unfinished things, some clutter laying around, just some stuff from the previous year. So we're going to look consciously towards 2026. Clutter in any form creates chaos. It creates confusion. It's distracting. It can create frustration. And preparing for this talk, I had the pleasure of looking at my own life, all these things I'm going to encourage you to do, and see what was there. And sure enough, I found some stuff. So I'm just going to have a truth ceremony and just tell you what I found, tell you what was there, and offer you some helpful hints, perhaps, that you can take into your week, this last week of the year, and maybe declutter some areas of your life. Now, the physical stuff that builds up in our environment, that's usually what we think of as clutter. Things that don't have a daily use. We don't use it every day. It's not like your toothbrush. Your toothbrush probably has a place you put it every day because you use it every day. And it goes in the same spot and you know where it's going to be. Well, these are some things that we might not need. Like I have this drawer full of, it's part of my junk drawer actually, and it's partially full of placemats. I have about 1 million in there. And I was looking at those and I thought, well, now someday I might have a very large party. And I'm like, I'm going to need all those placemats. Well, then I began to look at the logic of that and realize that I can't seat 1 million people in my house. So I probably don't need 1 million placemats. So I need to rethink that. So that may be a part of my decluttering of stuff. The other thing I noticed as I looked around was single-use countertop appliances. Anybody have those? Yeah. As I looked around, my face might turn red as I tell you all this. Let's see. I have a bread maker. I have an electric wok. I have a stand mixer. I also have a handheld, but it's tucked away. I have a blender. I have an air fryer. I have an Instapot. I have a rice cooker.
Wow.
Yeah. So very interesting to look at all of that and recognize the single-use function of most of those appliances and the amount of space that they take up. Now, I can tell you that rice cooker, I've had it for probably 10 years. I think I've used it twice. So that one may get on the declutter list. I'm not sure about that one. That one might get on the declutter list. Closets. Anybody have cluttered closets? If you were here last year, you may recall that was on my intention list. I had some closets I needed to clean out because we remodeled the house, and I needed to reorganize those from cleaning them out for the remodel and then putting things back, maybe not quite as orderly as I should have. And I got to one of them this year so far, and I looked at it the other day and realized that it's getting a bit cluttered again. So I get to look at that and what's up with me there on that little project. But in all fairness, I've got 4 more days to finish cleaning out the rest of the closet. So that's on my list. That is on my list. Now, all of these things create chaos in my mind because they periodically spin around on that hamster wheel I carry. Anybody else have that hamster wheel that things just get, that thing. And so it'll be, oh gosh, I gotta get to those closets. And I'll add it to my to-do list again. Or, oh gosh, I gotta do that. Add it to my to-do list. So it's mental clutter in my mind on top of the physical clutter. Another thing that creates that is the unfinished projects, the things that keep going on the to-do list. That anybody have to-do lists? Anybody have a lot of to-do lists? I have realized in preparing this, I'm a nut for to-do lists. I have them at the commercial real estate office. I have them for the grocery store. I have them for the Costco run. I have them for church. I have them for things to do around the house. I mean, it's crazy. They're all different lists. And looking at them, I've realized that I might be a little overly optimistic on some of the lists. Take, for example, my holiday cards. I love receiving cards, particularly the ones that have a heartfelt note, or they have those great letters of the summary of the year, because some of my cousins and so forth, I don't talk with it frequently, but I love to get that summary of what's going on in their lives. So every year, well, this year, I bought cards. I put them on my desk. I made my list of people I wanted to send it to. I bought stamps. And I've been watching them since about Thanksgiving sit there. And I've been frustrated with the mental clutter of my mind because I haven't done them. And now it's the 28th of December, and I realized I should have brought Happy New Year cards. So, if you get a Christmas card from me about Memorial Day, don't worry about it. You can use it for this year or next. Either way. What are some other ways that clutter can accumulate, and can we develop practices to finish these unfinished business and things? Now, I have a tendency, some of you know me for a while, I have a tendency to allow myself to have a very full schedule of things to do that I'm responsible for. At least that's what I tell myself. And a byproduct of that seems to be a cluttered office. Not 1, not 2, but actually 3. The real estate office gets pretty cluttered because I have a lot of projects and I keep them all open. And all the stuff stacks up because I need to know where it is. If I file things, can't find it, don't remember to do it. I'm seeing nods. Well, at home, I've just got so many things happening that things pile up. And a byproduct of this habit is that those piles get bigger and bigger and bigger, and then they're completely overwhelming because now I really don't have time to take care of them because they've gotten so big. Anybody else? Okay. I noticed it happened here in this office a little bit. It wasn't papers and things like that. But that office seems to have become the catch-all for extra storage, things we get that get cluttered up here. Bless Valerie's heart, and I mean that in the most genuine way. She was here for the decorating party, and she looked at it and she goes, "This is driving me crazy. Can I straighten this up?" And I said, "Please straighten this up." So she did. She straightened it up. I haven't got her to go to my house yet. Uh-oh. Are you sound?
Yeah, you're off.
Hello? There we go. I'm good. I haven't gotten her to come to my house yet, so we're still waiting on that. But as I've sat with this belief this week of I'm so busy. Anybody else have that mantra? I'm so busy. I don't have time to file or put things away. I realized that I'm creating my own nightmare by having that mantra. Maybe it's not your office that this happens to you in. A long time ago, I lived in a 2-story house. And I noticed that what happened is that I would stack things on the bottom stairs rather than run up and down the steps 10 times a day. And at the end of the day, you carry all that stuff upstairs and hopefully put it away. And maybe sometimes it just landed at the top of the stairs, right? So maybe that's your challenge. Excuse me. Years ago, Daniel mentioned practitioner training earlier. And years ago in my practitioner classes, we took a field trip and went to one of our practitioner emeritus's homes. And her name was Irene Hunter. And she was delightful. She was just really a delightful woman. She had a beautiful home, very, very beautiful home. And there wasn't any clutter around. And probably because of that, one of the students asked her, how do you do it? And she said something that was very profound that I've carried with me ever since then. She said, finish the action. Finish the action. And that has stuck with me. And I use it in a lot of areas of my life. I just haven't done it in my office area yet. But I think that's going to be part of my intentions for next week is to use that mantra there. She means by that we finish the action of what we start. If you are bringing the dry cleaning home, you've made the effort to go get the dry cleaning. It's in the car. Take it out of the car, into the closet, take those bags off, hang everything where it belongs, take those bags and dispose of them in the trash or the recycle. Finish the action all the way through. If you're having dinner, take your dishes in and don't stack them in the sink. Rinse them, put them in the dishwasher, and be done with it. Finish the action. That makes a lot of sense if you think about it. And I will catch myself very many times wanting to stop part way. Well, just sit it down there. I'll get to it later. And I hear that little mantra in my head. Finish the action. And I'll take the extra steps. Sometimes when I open my garage and go to walk outside, there's a little counter on the right-hand side, and I find myself wanting to just set things right there and close the door and go back in the house. I hear that mantra, finish the action. And so I will push the door open and take the extra few steps, and it really is just about 3 more steps to get to the cupboard to put it away. And then it's done, and it's not sitting there cluttering up anything anymore. I put it all the way away. Ernest Holmes is the author of The Science of Mind, the founder of religious science, and he says, we discover through this teaching that our affairs are primarily a thing of thought. Then we realize that everything is in the visible world is effect. The back of all effects are the ideas which are the real cause of those effects. Clutter is the effect of a cause that we previously set in motion in our lives when we chose not to finish the action. And this includes emotional clutter too. It can be thoughts that are cluttering up my mind about the clutter. It can be feelings of guilt and frustration, failure about the fact that it's still there. Failing in my good intentions to clean it up and complete the action. Emotional clutter can also be about unprocessed feelings. Anxiety, guilt, resentment, things that we sometimes will stuff down and not allow to be fully expressed. It can manifest by not allowing ourselves to feel the unpleasant feelings at the time of negative things that happen. Not allowing ourselves to cry when we feel like crying, be angry when we feel like being angry, because anger is not good. I'm a religious scientist. I can't be angry. But we have those emotions, and we should not stuff them. We should process them. They can lead to physical illness, anger, and self-sabotaging behaviors if we let them be stuffed down. Now, our feelings are not inherently dangerous. In science of mind, sometimes I think we can get that kind of hooked up in our brains that we can't have our emotions and our feelings unless they're positive and good and happy ones. And that's not accurate. That's not true. We can have our emotions. Emotions are energy in motion in our bodies. We feel them in our bodies, and that's where they're happening. And the energy is moving through our bodies, and it needs to move out of our bodies, otherwise it stays in there. And if it happens to be those negative or high, strong emotions, they get in there and fester. So we need to allow those to be processed and not get stuck. One of the best practices to heal and prevent emotional clutter is a commitment to self-compassion and self-awareness. Now, I think of self-awareness like a SWOT analysis. Anybody heard of a SWOT analysis in business? Well, it means discovering our personal strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. It's becoming aware of and understanding our own personality. It's doing an assessment on ourselves, our emotions, our thoughts, our behaviors. And then those act as a mirror for you to see your strengths, weaknesses, and your impact on others. I think not understanding our impact on others is huge. And self-awareness is a wonderful practice to help us realize that. We don't realize the tone of our voice, our body language, and the impact that can have on other people. An example would be, I need my other microphones. Sorry. I need all my hands. Hang on. Where's the other part? Uh-oh. So, technology. Here we go. All right, listening. The body language. So if we are like this, and we're like this, I'm really happy. I'm really, really happy with you. I am really, 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 really happy. Do you believe me?
No.
My words are saying, but my body language is not, and we don't realize that. If we're screaming about something, it's being interpreted as the scream rather than the message and the words. So it's important that we have an awareness of our impact on other people and how we're pushing through the world and how we're treating other people just in general interactions in the grocery store and wherever we might be. What is my impact on the people around me? Self-compassion is giving yourself a break. Giving yourself a break. Recognizing your humanity, letting go of perfection. Letting go of perfection. Being real with yourself and your world. Recognizing that you're going to mess up and it's okay. It's part of the whole thing. People think we're real when we mess up. And I am the world's most guilty person of this, which is why today's message is a little relaxed. Just like, okay, you are pretty uptight up there, so let it go. Let it go. It's time to start looking at life through a lens of curiosity, adventure, and lifelong learning. We're here to continue to grow and expand. We're ever widening our understanding. Remembering to treat yourself with the same kindness, care, and compassion that you would your best friend or your best free friend. We sometimes treat our pets better than we treat ourselves. It's important to process emotions completely when things happen rather than allowing them to fester and become toxic. The final type of clutter that I want to talk about today is relational. And these are the places in our heart and mind that hold the clutter of unhealed and unspoken tears in the fabric of our relationships. And these can be with our friends, our families, our spouses, our business associates. It can be anywhere. These are old wounds that we've allowed to fester, to become toxic, because we're unwilling to forgive. Forgiveness is a key element to decluttering. Did you know that? Any type of decluttering requires a little forgiveness. Maybe it's forgiveness for acquiring in the first place. Maybe it's forgiveness for hanging on to old stuff that no longer serves us. Whether it's physical, emotional, or relational, holding on to feelings of bitterness, guilt, resentment, regret, those can be heavy burdens for us to carry. It blocks our spiritual and emotional flow, just like those physical things block our houses. We can get stuck up with it. Forgiving people who have hurt you and forgiving yourself for mistakes that you made can remove those toxins from your body, your mind, your heart. By forgiving yourself, you release that stagnant energy that's been stuck in your body. It's very freeing when we can let go of old obligations, past identities. As I was going through some Christmas things, it was interesting to find just I don't know about you, but I have a lot of old Christmas ornaments over many years, and memories tied to a lot of those. And recognizing some of those that were perhaps cluttering up memories, some of those were good memories, but just not recognizing the memories that were within all of those and the past identities that were associated with them. Some made it to the tree, some did not, some stayed in the box. We know that forgiveness isn't about condoning others' behavior, right? We all know that now. We don't condone the other person's behavior. It's about releasing ourselves from the hold that those past hurts or the hold that those items that sit around our home have on us. Forgiveness helps us clear that stuck energy. I've started thinking about it a little bit like debt forgiveness. You know, the Lord's Prayer says, forgive us our trespasses. And we hear debt forgiveness in the financial world. There was a lot of that in the 2008-9 era, a lot of debt forgiveness on loans and things for housing. When there's a debt, if you've ever had a debt and got behind on it, there's a collection process where they start harassing you pretty much, right? And they're calling and calling and calling, and you're saying, I can't pay, I can't pay, I can't pay. And so there's this energetic exchange back and forth of the demand and the denial and the demand and the denial. And that's pretty much the energy of unforgiveness, is that we have in our unforgiveness an idea of a demand that we want something from the other person. They may not know we want, that may not be, they may not even know that there's an issue, right? We've all had that experience. Excuse me. So that idea of debt forgiveness, that idea of releasing that energy, that's really what forgiveness is about. And allowing ourselves to forgive, to release that energy, to release that debt. When we do, that's also a prosperity principle, of course, that allows prosperity to flow. Anyone that has taken a foundations course, that's one of the first things we tell you the first night of class. Excuse me. Is to go home and clean out that junk drawer, clean out that closet, because you're about to receive a lot of new information. You're about to receive a lot of new ideas. Make space for it, physically in your home, emotionally, mentally. Make room for that receiving of that new. Decluttering is not just about organizing, cleaning our homes or our minds. It feels good to clean up, clean out, donate, recirculate. All of that feels good, but that's not what we're talking about. Spiritual decluttering is about opening the channel for your good and freeing your soul from the stuff of the past. Clutter is the things of the past. If you think about that, clutter is not in the moment, is it? It's not in the present. Clutter is from the past. Now's the perfect time to let that go. So let's look at spiritual practices for this week's decluttering. Number 1, take inventory. Examine your life and your space and write down any areas of clutter in the physical, mental, emotional, or relational areas. Number 2 is to create a plan to deal with it. Address each area, beginning with why you have it. What is the emotional hook, and do I want to keep it? Some of it you may want to keep. Some of it may be family heirlooms that you just feel compelled to keep, and that's okay. I'm not saying we all need to live minimalist lives. If you're going to keep it, keep it. If not, whatever you have to do to remove it. Is it a physical removal? Is it an emotional removal, like forgiveness? Or is it something to make peace with and keep? Next is select one area to begin. Define the cause of the clutter and make a new choice. In my case, the office, and finish the action. I'll be implementing that. Use a mantra. Forgive yourself or others for the attachment to the item. Decide what to do with it now. Heal it, keep it, gift it, donate it, recycle, or trash it. What are you going to do with it? That includes the mental stuff too. We can trash mental things, right? Get rid of them and stop thinking about them. Transform them. And finish the action. Remove the item from your life, your mind, or your heart. And remember to use all of your spiritual practices during this decluttering phase. We have meditation, we have mindfulness as you go through the process, affirmative prayer to support you, and you can reframe some of those old thought patterns that got the stuff in your life to begin with. Daniel and I are also available to you to support in healing any stuck energy or thought patterns around the clutter that you might want to release, or any forgiveness work that you might want to do. If physical clutter is a challenge in your life, there are a lot of organizers and decluttering people in books and on websites and YouTube videos and so forth for support. Just remember, though, that clutter is the effect, and that our deeper spiritual work is to clean up cause, to go back to cause. We'll close this morning with a quote from professional organizer Peter Walsh, who said, "Clutter is not the stuff on your floor. It's anything that stands between you and the life you want to be living." This week, I invite you to finish the unfinished and create space for the life that you want to be living. And so it is.
So it is.
I will open it up for question and answer this morning. If anybody has anything, I'm happy to hear from you. Clutter in any way? No? Everybody's clear?
I could talk for hours on this one. I grew up in a family of hoarders and had to deal with the aftermath of my parents' estate afterwards. So I strive to not be like that, and yet I find that I've got that genetic component in me. After having gone through over time several cleanouts, I found that just by having another person there, I could say, I remember when I got these beautiful bells. You know, it was when I was on vacation in Thailand and blah, blah, blah. And then as soon as I have let that story go to someone else, they're no longer my sole responsibility, and I can let go of them.
Nice. Nice. That's lovely. I've not heard that one. The one that I've heard shared is to have a similar experience, but to take a picture of the item. You know, do I need the item, or am I really wanting the memory? And take the photograph and then, write any memory about that. Yeah. Anybody else? Decluttering, forgiveness. All right. Love it. So would you join me for a prayer this morning? So as we go within, we recognize that there is one power, one presence, one life, and that is God, the source of all that is. It is abundant, it is creative, and it is forever creating through its creation, continuously giving, continuously loving. It is peace and harmony and balance and order and divine right action. And all of that is here now present, in, through, and as me as an expression of it, and in, through, and as each and every one of us gathered here in person, those online, and anyone listening later. For we know that there is no separation. We are one, connected in this wholeness, this oneness, this divinity that is God, source, presence, essence. And so I speak my word this morning, knowing that Spirit gives and gives and gives, and that there's always more for us. And that we know and understand this law of circulation, and that we keep things moving and flowing in our lives through our ever expanding and widening, broadening thoughts and consciousness, through our circulation of our good that comes to us, and knowing that in any areas of stagnation or clutter that may have built up in our lives, in any area, that we can freely and easily share, donate, move that around, move it through, whatever is required, heal it. Whatever baggage there may be, just knowing that we can absolutely, through the power of Source within us, heal and transform any of that. We can forgive it, freeing ourselves from that debt, that energy, that feeling of being tied to a past life. We can be free. And so I know that for each one of us here today, knowing that that freedom in our heart and our lives and our physical environments and minds, that we are free. We are whole, perfect, and complete just as we are. And as we wrap up this year, that we do so with an open heart, a clear mind, and enthusiasm and excitement into the new year, knowing that it is blessed and brings each of us great joy, love, peace, harmony, prosperity, all of the good that we seek, loving relationships, kindness. We truly are blessed. And it is from a place of recognizing these blessings, filled with thanksgiving and gratitude, that I release this prayer into the action and activity of law, knowing that it is already done. For we know the word spoken is the word made manifest, and we affirm this truth together by saying, and so it is.